So we're here with Brant with Classic Physique Collective, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You guys can find me on Instagram at CPC Bodybuilding.
CPC Bodybuilding.
So you might know me as CPC. That's what other people refer to me as. So.
Yeah, that's how I remember it. So for me, I consider you the Classic Physique guy. What was your takeaway from last night's prejudging and then finals for Classic Physique?
So I think the biggest thing with Classic this year was we saw kind of what we expected. And that was Ramon Dino taking his first Arnold Classic. But it was certainly a battle with Urs to the very end. They both really showcased their strengths. Ramon Dino really captured the show with not only his density, but the detail in his muscle is just next level. And that's what really separates him from Urs, in my opinion. Though Urs is absolutely known for that detail, that conditioning, there's just something to Ramon's muscle. There's a quality to his muscle.
Yeah.
It almost pops a little bit more.
Yeah.
Though I would say Urs certainly has him on width. That's the biggest thing that I think Urs has going for him, and that's why a lot of people compare him to Chris Bumstead, is because he has those very wide clavicles,
right,
the very wide sweeping lats that tie in nicely to the waist, and the quad sweeps that kick out. So it creates that X-frame, that hourglass look. Whereas Ramon Dino, to me, just seems a bit more complete at this point in his career. Urs, if he just increases the size of his arms, he gets bigger arms and perhaps adds a bit more density, especially to his torso. So a lot more horizontal pulling. Urs can compete with Ramon. He's not that far behind. But I do believe it is a clear 2 and 3 in Classic right now. Yeah. With Chris Bumstead just way ahead of everybody else.
I kind of like how I talked about Nick Walker last night. Chris Bumstead is like men among boys, and most respectfully, of course. But like he's in his own league.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially from, so I just spoke to the characteristics of Urs and Ramon.
Yeah.
Urs with the width, Ramon with the density, but Chris Bumstead is the culmination of both of those characteristics. He's just so much wider than everybody else, but also denser than everybody else.
Yeah.
You see it in the side chest, in just the hamstring drop, and also the density throughout his torso, his deltoids, and his arms, and that side chest. But when he opens up in like the front lat spread or the front double bicep, or even the back double bicep, his width just shines so much more than everybody else's. But another thing that I thought was kind of interesting too, that a lot of people didn't foresee in Classic last night, was Mike Sommerfeld came in 4th place, and Alex Cambronero, the 2020 Arnold Classic champion, came in 3rd. And at prejudging, even on the live stream, it seemed a bit more apparent that Alex just brought the conditioning this time around, and what really got him 3rd place over Mike this year was the back. From the back, the detail and the muscle maturity of Alex really just outshined Mike, though Mike is known for his width.
Yeah. Alex
just, I think, stole the show outside of Ramon and Urs with that muscle maturity, because he's 46 years old. Oh, okay. So he's at the point in his career where he's just refining that muscle. Yeah. He's not going to be putting on that much size. I think he weighs somewhere in the 180s maybe. So he's not the biggest guy, but that muscle maturity is just next level for Alex Cambronero, and I think this is probably one of the best looks we've seen from him, even at the age of 46, which is just very impressive to me. Yeah. And then we saw Courage Opara. He came in 5th behind the 4 guys that I just mentioned. Really just needs to complete things from a conditioning perspective. Courage has a beautiful frame, a complete physique all around. Perhaps could use a touch more on the hamstrings in the back, and then dial in the conditioning just a touch more. And Courage is there, I think, placing in perhaps, I think, top 10 in the Olympia, though he has placed in the Olympia in the top 10 twice already. Those were in earlier years, so I think 2018 and 2019 he was in the top 10. When it was
10. They were still figuring it out?
Before the big jump in talent in Classic that we saw in 2021.
Yeah.
That's just when the talent just got so much better in Classic.
Yeah.
And then in 6th place, we saw Junior Jaworski, who is out of Brazil. For me, I probably would have had Jason Brown in that 6th place spot, who ended up taking 7th, which was last. I probably would have taken Jason personally because there was a difference in conditioning that seemed very remarkable to me. And the only thing that Jason really has, or that Junior has that Jason perhaps does not have, is a little bit more width. That was the big difference in the lats especially. But Jason's presentation was much more polished, in my opinion. Jason has improved remarkably just from his last show at the Texas State Pro. His posing routine, I would actually say, was one of the better ones last night, and he's not known for his presentation.
Yeah.
I would say probably behind Urs and Courage.
I got like shivers.
Yeah, and Courage has really honed that routine, and he's used that in the past couple of shows. Like, he used that one at Tampa and Texas, which he won last year.
Okay.
But Courage has that routine like down pat. This is the 3rd show in a row he's used it, but it works very well for his physique. It's very polished, it's very clean. Though I've seen it a few times, it still captures me, I think, from an audience standpoint, and really shows Courage's strengths. I'm a huge fan of Courage's physique personally, and I think him and Ray Baker, who is his coach, are really, I mean, Courage is still way under the weight cap for Classic. Way under the weight cap, like to the point of where he was like carving up like before weigh-ins.
Wow.
So he has plenty of room to grow if he needs it, and really if they just figure out the conditioning thing, Courage is going to be really dangerous too. So really Classic, we saw what we expected, and I think we're just going to continue to see that meteoric rise of Ramon Dino. Just undeniably second best in the world right now, and Urs got best poser as well. I saw that one coming as well.
As soon as it happened, I was like, okay, he's not winning.
Yeah.
That's like the telltale sign.
Yeah, that's the tip of the hat. Yeah, so.
People's champ, most muscular. They're like.
Yeah, it's like it's the nice consolation prize. I mean, I do believe it's like 10 grand for that. So.
Yeah.
It's certainly not like a bad consolation prize, but yeah, I mean. Very happy for Ramon, very deserving of that Arnold Classic win. And I'll be really intrigued to see what he and Urs can do with the time off. I'm not sure if they're going to be going straight into their off seasons, because obviously Ramon, I mean, since they were both top 3, they're automatically qualified for the Olympia this year. So I'll be intrigued to see if Urs tries to win more shows or if he is going to go straight into his offseason, because I think with an offseason under Urs's belt, that could help him make that jump to really push Ramon the way he needs to, because he just needs more size. That's it. And I mean, he could be there. So, but yeah, an awesome Arnold Classic. The Arnold Amateur from Classic Physique was, I believe, one of the best ones that we've seen in recent memory.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't land in time, so like, how was that?
Oh, it was amazing, man. So I was front and center for Classic Physique finals. There were only 3 classes, so classes A, B, and C, and all 3 guys who won the classes were guys who have pro caliber physiques. When you guys see these photos, like, you're gonna notice like detail and shape that, I mean, are worthy of a pro stage, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So Muhammad was, I can't remember Muhammad's last name, in Class A. He looks great from the front. I think his front shots are some of the best. In Class B, Corey, I actually had the pleasure of talking with his team and meeting with him, talking with Corey a little bit, and just a really down-to-earth guy, great guy, and his stage presence is just so incredible. He, as an amateur, just displays this poise on stage and this very polished physique and presentation. He knows what his strengths are, and just watching him pose is incredible, man. He's one of those guys who, when he poses, his physique comes to life. And just has a huge frame. Like, he's a wide guy, though he's only in Class B, which caps out at 5'10".
Yeah.
Corey, he looks bigger than that. and if you guys see some of the footage from the show, Corey was actually taller than the guy in Class C, so which was kind of not sure what was behind that, if somebody just messed up at weigh-ins.
Oh, okay.
But the guy who won Class C, his name's Kendall Richmond. He ended up winning Class C and the overall.
Okay.
Beautiful physique, very bubbly muscle, lots of detail, lots of muscle maturity. He's been training for years. He's actually, I believe, an INBA world champion, which is natural bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So this guy is a natural bodybuilder and just won the Arnold Classic Amateur.
Yeah, I think I follow him.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that natural tag. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, this guy has world-class genetics and just an incredible physique that really speaks for itself. And Kendall's a very humble, down-to-earth guy as well. I've talked with him a little bit in the DMs, and just seems like a really solid dude as well. But I mean, it was a hell of a battle in that last call out, man. I personally, when I was watching the show, I thought they were going to give it to the guy in Class B, which is Corey, simply because the look in Classic is a little bit more on the width side now. They tend to favor guys with wider frames and tend to reward conditioning a little bit more. But I do think Kendall, the guy who ended up winning the show, was very deserving of a pro card, whether it be at this show or at another show.
Yeah.
Same thing with Corey. Corey is going to be a pro. I know he's headed off to the Ben Weeder show in 3 weeks in the UK, and I think there he's going to secure his pro card because, man, he's like, not only the way he conducts himself on stage but off stage, just a true professional. Has a great support system behind him. He works with Joe from the Physique Collective, which they're some of the best bodybuilding coaches out of the UK, amateur and pro-wise, so really big fan of those guys. But yeah, just an awesome show at the Arnold Amateur for Classic Physique, and I think these guys really set the precedent for future years in Classic Physique.
Okay.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
All right. Lots to diagnose or dissect with that. But what's your Instagram tags so we can make sure we can tag?
Yeah, sure. So you guys can find me here on YouTube at Classic Physique Collective or search CPC Bodybuilding. And then on Instagram you can find me at CPC Bodybuilding as well.
Perfect. So. All right, Brant, thank you. Look forward to working with you more in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Josh Stonish here with Bodybuilding News Network, and we'll see you in another one.